Sergeant Major David Chen stared at the compound through his thermal optics and felt something wrong in his gut. The intelligence was perfect. The timing was perfect. The target's security was almost non-existent. The approach route was clear. The extraction plan was flawless. Everything about this mission was exactly what Special Operations Forces dream of: a high-value target, isolated and vulnerable, ready for capture. That's what made Chen suspicious. In 12 years of special operations, he had learned one absolute truth: nothing is ever this easy. When everything looks perfect, when every piece falls into place without friction, when the enemy makes it simple for you, that's when you're walking into a trap. Sir, we have positive identification. Target is in the compound. Security is minimal. We have clear approach. Mission is green. His team leader's voice was confident, eager. This was the operation they'd been waiting for, the chance to eliminate a facilitator responsible for dozens of coalition casualties. Chen keyed his radio. Hold position. Something's wrong. Wrong? Intel is solid. We have eyes on target. What's the problem? It's too perfect. That's the problem. This is the story of Operation Phantom Veil, a JTF-2 mission in Afghanistan in 2014 that almost became the deadliest trap in Canadian Special Operations history. A mission where trusting perfect intelligence would have killed an entire team, and where one operator's instinct to question success saved 7 lives by recognizing that sometimes the enemy's greatest weapon is giving you exactly what you want. October 2014, Helmand Province, Afghanistan. Intelligence had tracked a high-value facilitator to a rural compound. This individual was responsible for coordinating attacks that had killed 18 coalition soldiers in the previous 3 months. Signals intelligence, human intelligence, and aerial surveillance all confirmed his location. The target was isolated, lightly defended, and, according to every source, completely unaware that coalition forces knew where he was. The mission was assigned to a 7-man JTF-2 team led by Captain Marcus Webb. Chen served as second-in-command, a veteran whose experience across multiple deployments had taught him to read tactical situations beyond what intelligence briefings provided. The team also included Corporal Sarah Mitchell, medic, Corporal James Whitehorse, communications, and 3 assaulters with extensive combat experience. The briefing was textbook perfect. Satellite imagery showed the compound layout clearly. Thermal imaging confirmed occupancy patterns. Signal intercepts provided the target's daily routine. Ground surveillance had mapped approach routes and identified a security weakness in the compound's northern wall. Every element of mission planning aligned perfectly, creating what appeared to be a straightforward capture operation with minimal risk. Webb was confident. The intelligence was better than usual, the plan was solid, and his team was ready. They would insert 2 kilometers from the target, approach on foot using covered routes, breach the compound during early morning hours when security was minimal, capture the target, and extract via helicopter from a landing zone 300 meters away. Standard special operations procedure, executed hundreds of times across Afghanistan by various units. But Chen couldn't shake the feeling that something was fundamentally wrong. He had seen good intelligence before. He had executed low-risk missions. This felt different. This felt constructed, as if someone had designed the perfect mission specifically for them to find and execute. Every detail was too convenient, too aligned, too simple. During final mission prep, Chen voiced his concerns privately to Webb. The intelligence is too good. Every source confirms the same story. Every tactical element favors us. I've never seen a mission where nothing creates friction. Webb considered this. You think the intelligence is deliberately false? I think the intelligence is deliberately true. I think they want us to come. I think this is bait. Webb studied the mission plan again, looking for the trap Chen sensed. If it's bait, where's the trap? We've analyzed every approach, every angle. Where would they hit us? I don't know, Chen admitted, but my instinct says we're being set up. This was the critical decision point. Webb could trust the intelligence, which every analytical source confirmed as valid, or he could trust Chen's instinct, which had no concrete evidence but came from years of experience reading enemy patterns. Professional military operations are supposed to rely on intelligence and analysis, not gut feelings. But special operations also recognize that experienced operators develop tactical sense that goes beyond measurable data. Webb made his call. We proceed with the mission, but we proceed assuming it's a trap. We modify the plan to account for ambush possibilities, and at first sign that Chen's instinct is correct, we abort immediately. The team inserted at 0200 hours, 2 hours earlier than originally planned. If this was a trap, the enemy would be positioned based on expected timing. Arriving early might reveal preparation they hadn't concealed yet. It was a small modification, but it reflected Webb's decision to treat Chen's suspicion seriously, despite perfect intelligence. The approach route also changed. Instead of using the convenient covered approach that intelligence had identified, they chose a more difficult route that exposed them to open ground but allowed observation of the convenient route. If enemy forces were positioned along the easy path, the Canadians would see them before being seen. Chen led the modified approach, moving with extreme caution, treating every shadow as potential threat. The team advanced slowly, taking twice as long as normal for the 2-kilometer infiltration. Webb allowed this despite time pressure, trusting Chen's tactical sense even when it conflicted with mission timeline. At 800 meters from the compound, Chen halted the team. Through his night vision, he was scanning the terrain ahead, looking for anomalies. Everything appeared normal. The convenient approach route was clear. The compound showed expected thermal signatures, but Chen's instinct was screaming warnings. Whitehorse, give me communications intercept. What's the enemy radio traffic? Whitehorse activated his SIGINT equipment, scanning frequencies. Nothing, Sergeant. Complete radio silence in this sector. That was the first concrete anomaly. Enemy forces in this region maintained constant radio communication. Commanders coordinated with subordinates. Security posts reported to headquarters. Fighters chatted during boring guard duties. Complete radio silence was unusual, unless someone had ordered communications blackout to avoid revealing positions to electronic surveillance. Webb, we have radio silence. They've gone dark. Could be coincidence. Maybe their communications are down. Or maybe they're maintaining noise discipline because they're waiting for us. The team held position while Chen continued scanning. At 600 meters, he saw it, a thermal signature that didn't match the environment, a small heat bloom in a position that covered the convenient approach route. It could be a fighter staying warm during cold night, or it could be someone positioned specifically to observe that approach and trigger an ambush. Webb, I have possible enemy position at 11 o'clock, 600 meters. Thermal signature suggest human, positioned with clear observation of our planned route. Webb moved up to Chen's position and confirmed the signature. One person, in a location that provided perfect overwatch of the convenient approach, but completely irrelevant if the compound was simply occupied by unaware targets. Why would an unaware enemy have an observation post positioned to watch an approach route? That's a spotter position, Webb concluded. They're expecting us. Chen nodded. And if there's a spotter on this approach, there are probably similar positions covering other approaches. They've created channels they want us to use, and they're watching those channels. So we don't use their channels. We go somewhere they're not watching. Assuming there is somewhere they're not watching, if this is sophisticated setup, they might have all approaches covered. This was the second critical decision point. The evidence was still circumstantial, one suspicious thermal signature and unusual radio silence, but it was enough to confirm Chen's instinct that something was wrong. Webb could abort the mission based on this limited evidence, or he could continue with extreme caution, probing for more confirmation before abandoning a high-value target. Webb decided to test the hypothesis that they were being funneled into a trap. We're going to probe their response. Mitchell, you're staying here as anchor.
Everyone else, we move laterally to a position they wouldn't expect, then observe what happens. The team moved perpendicular to their planned approach, relocating to higher ground that provided observation of both the compound and the convenient approach route. It was tactically unusual, moving away from the objective, but it allowed them to see the battlefield from an enemy's perspective, rather than following the path intelligence had suggested. From this new position, Chen saw more thermal signatures that he had missed from the original approach angle. At least 4 positions scattered around the compound perimeter, all oriented outward, all positioned to cover likely approach routes. This wasn't normal security. This was an ambush perimeter, with fields of fire designed to create kill zones on specific approaches. Webb, I count 4 positions, all outward facing, all covering approaches that intelligence suggested were optimal.